Hey guys, it's Lotus and welcome back to another video. Today, as part of Spooky Month, we're going to continue talking about Squid Game. So in my previous video, I did a Tiermaker where I ranked the Squid Game characters. So in this one, I am going to rank the challenges. I talked a lot about the show in the previous video, so you can check that one out first. And I'm not going to go too in-depth about the show because I already discussed it. But I'll be talking about the games in depth and my thoughts, yeah. So again, there will be spoilers, so if you have not watched Squid Game yet, I highly recommend it. Go check it out on Netflix and then come back and watch this after. Okay, so let's start. There are the 6 challenges that were in the Squid Game, and then there was also the pre-game, which involved the salesman, where he would go and approach prospective candidates and ask them if they would like to play dakji. Dakji is where you have two pieces of cardboard or something, and you throw it and you have to flip over one with the other by throwing and hitting it. So pretty much he approaches Gi-hoon and asks, "Do you want red or blue?" Gi-hoon chooses blue. So, Gi-hoon, if he is able to flip over the red tile with his blue tile by throwing down his blue tile, then he wins. Was it 10,000 won or 100,000 won? Let me check. That I don't remember, and that's embarrassing. Dakji. Was it 100,000? Was it 10,000 won? I don't remember now. 10,000 won. I don't remember. Was it 10,000? Or 1? I believe it was 10,000 won. Yeah. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, so pretty much, which is about like $10, I would say. So every time he wins, he gets $10 or 10,000 won. But every time he loses and the salesman wins, then he would owe the salesman 10,000 won. Now, Gi-hoon does not have any money to spare or to gamble because he already gambled it all at the racetrack. So instead of owing 10,000 won, he owes the salesman a slap every time he loses. And so he gets slapped around a lot. But he managed to win. I guess he won like 10 games because I think he ended up leaving with 100,000 won or like $100. So he did win a few times. Now, what are my thoughts on this game? I think it's about luck and strength because you have to have strategy, I guess, to know where exactly to throw down your tile to flip the other tile over. But also strength and strategy and luck, because it showed Gi-hoon really trying to flip it over, but the salesman got to flip it over very, very often. But it's really hard to rig this game. So, I mean, I guess if I'm comparing this to all the other Squid Games, then this would be S tier, mainly because there's no death involved. There's some pain, like you can get slapped around, or you could give the salesman 10,000 won if you have it on you. But you don't die. There's nowhere to die in this game because this is like a pre-registration game. Should pretty much let the salesman know exactly how desperate the contestant is for money and if they would be a really good fit for the Squid Games. So S tier, mainly because you can't die from this game. Unless he slaps you really hard and you like, I don't know, break your neck or something. Which is unlikely, I would hope. Okay, this is out of order. Next we have, well, shall I go in order? I'll go in order. Okay, next we have the red light, green light game. Okay, so I'm gonna rank it first and then explain why. I'm putting it in D tier. Why? Because I have no physical endurance. I get really nervous, and so I would probably end up shaking and I would get shot right away. And also, it's like a long stretch of field that they have to run across, so even if I don't get shot because I don't accidentally move when the doll turns around, I probably wouldn't make it in the 5-minute time limit. And I would probably die before I could reach the finish line. So, I've never really been good at red light, green light. Either as the runner or as the counter, or the person that says red light, green light, because whenever I'm the person doing it, everyone is always really fast. And I don't turn around fast enough, I guess. But whenever I'm, like, running toward the person, saying red light, green light, I'm just not fast enough at pausing, like the momentum, you know? Like, you still end up wobbling a little bit before you can really, like, freeze. So yeah, for me, red light, green light, I would probably lose. Okay, so D tier. Next was the second game was the Dalgona candy. I would put that at, okay, so just to let you guys know, only the first game, with the Dakchi, would be S tier for me because there's no risk of death. All the other games will be A tier or lower, because you will die if you lose any of these games, which automatically bumps it down from being S tier. But for the Dalgona Candy Challenge, I would put it A tier. Because, it's like, I think that once you get the hang of it, if you choose the right shape, specifically the triangle, and you notice ahead of time that you can lick it, I think that it shouldn't be too bad. Also, if you're lucky and you find someone who has a lighter or something like that, maybe you would be able to break it out earlier. But I feel like it's not too bad or not as physically strenuous or tiring compared to any of the other games. So yeah, for me, the Dalgona Candy Challenge would be A tier, and I would actually like to try the game in real life, without the threat of death. Have you guys ever had the Dalgona coffee? I've actually hadn't had a chance to try it, but I saw it all last year, last summer. It was really, really popular. People making like the Dalgona whipped coffee. And I think it's like, it's the same type of sugar, right? Honeycomb sugar? Okay, the third game was the Tug of War. Oh my god. Tug of War. I actually would put Tug of War in D tier as well. Worse than the red light, green light game. It's worse, number one, because you are chained to the rope. So, maybe you're really good at the game, but you're also relying heavily on your teammates. If you have a lot of people who are also really not good at the game on your team, you are sure to lose. And unlike the red light, green light game, where if you lose, you get shot, and it's supposedly a quicker death, I believe falling to your death from that height would probably be a lot more painful. And so I think between the two ways of being killed, I think being shot would be more instantaneous than falling, or it should hurt less, I would hope. Your body would also be more intact if you were shot versus if you fell from that high up. But also, again, I'm also not really good at physical endurance and games like that. So I've played Tug of War before too, and I'm also not good at it. And then you also get really bad rope burns on your hands, which suck. So, yeah, not a fan of Tug of War either. Okay, the fourth game was the marble game. That was so sad. Oh, wait. Oh, the intermission game. When was that? Was that before the marble game? I think so. The intermission game, I would put that at a C. Okay. It's not as bad. I feel like it's not as bad as the red light, green light, or the Tug of War, because if you're able to hole up somewhere and barricade yourself, I think you should be good. And also it's, or if you can find someone that's strong to protect you, then you should be good as well, or, you know, as long as you hide. If you're able to hide and wait it out, then I think, the brawl, like, the off-hours brawl, should be doable. Of course, you never want to be in that situation either way, but definitely I think you could survive it a lot better than, the first two games, or the other two games in the D category. Okay, the fourth game was the marbles game. I would put that at a A or B? I would put that at a B. I think in terms of easiness, it should be same thing as A, the Dalgona Candy Challenge. But I think B, because there's a lot of mental anguish involved, because you have to choose a partner and then you have to betray your partner. So any camaraderie you've built up while participating in these games have to be thrown out the window, and then you have to worry about betrayal and, you know, turning on each other. And then do you have the mental fortitude to know to like beat them, take their marbles, and know that, you know, you're sending the other person to their death. In terms of like the game, because there's no rules for the marbles game, you can literally play anything involving the marbles. It's not hard to play, but I think it's more of like a psychological warfare. Yeah. Okay, then there was the, oh my god, this is the worst one. This is the worst one. This is D tier. This is the worst one. The worst. This is worse than the tug of war. This is worse than red light, green light. The glass stepping stone game, the glass bridge game. I keep calling it stepping stone. It's the glass bridge game is the worst. I guess you would be really, so first of all, you have to choose a number from 1 to 16, not knowing what that means. Then you find out that that's the order in which you will cross the glass bridge. Now, it would really suck if you end up being in the front, especially number 1, because you have no idea which glass is tempered and which will break if you step on it. I think that had one of the most gruesome death scenes in the entire series, because you saw so many of them jump onto the glass, it shatter, and them falling to their death. It was so horrific. And it's like, I think I held my breath a lot while watching that game. Unlike the other ones, which I was really tense, for the glass bridge game, I was really like holding my breath, because I was so nervous and I didn't know how many people could survive and how many people would survive. And then there was also the scary, like, first of all, if you look at that bridge, you have to jump pretty far from each glass step. So there's also the chance of you slipping and falling off the bridge without even landing on the glass step that you want to. And then there's the fear of being pushed off by the person behind you if you're taking too long, because everyone has 16 minutes total to cross the bridge. All 16 contestants have a total of 16 minutes. So if you're in the front, you know, you're the first to get to the end, but you have no idea which glass is safe. But if you're all the way at the back, like number 16, like Gi-hun, if everyone in front of you takes too long, then you might end up running out of time before you can cross the bridge. And then you would also be killed. So I think this was the most sadistic game out of all of them, and it really pit everyone against each other more than the other games did. Okay, then we had the intermission, the special game, where it was the final 3 contestants. It was Saebyuk, Gi-hun, and Sang-woo, and they were all given a nice steak dinner. They got to wear little fancy like tuxedos, and they got to like sit and chill and eat, and they were all given a knife. And they weren't told what to do with that knife, but they all hid them in their pockets. And then during Lights Out, before the 6th final game, they were told just to sit there and wait. And that was the perfect chance for them to use the cover of darkness to assassinate any one of them, assassinate each other. Now, Gi-hun, I would put this in B. Gi-hun was going to kill Sang-woo because he felt so betrayed by him, but Saebyuk stopped him because she said that's not the type of person you are, which I agree. Gi-hun isn't a killer. He's not like an active killer. He wouldn't actively go and kill someone the way Sang-woo would. But then, right after Saebyuk stops Gi-hun, when he has his back turned, Sang-woo goes up and kills Saebyuk. And I was so mad. I know I mentioned it in the last video, but I was so mad at him. Any redeeming qualities he had went right out the window for me. Until he decided to sacrifice himself in the final game. But before that, I was really mad with him and I was done with him. Yeah, so I put it in B again because it's not like there's only 3 players. So it's not like you're not in a severe danger. Again, it's more of the psychological warfare. And so I put it on the same thing as B, which was the marbles game, because it was really about turning against each other. and so they have a similar concept, and so I rank them about the same. Finally, we have the last game. Now, the last game, also, I would put that as a B. Now, like a high B. And again, it was because it's just the final two contestants. It's Sang-woo and it's Gi-hun. And like, even though they're playing the Squid Game, once they both get into the middle of the squid body, it's just an all-out brawl. You're just fighting with whatever you have, throwing sand at each other's eyes, stabbing each other. You know, it's all about physicality. Now, I am not a person that's good at physical endurance or physical strength, so if it were me, I would lose. But for someone who is in tip-top shape, physically and mentally, they would do pretty well in this game. And again, this was also psychological warfare, because the last two contestants are best friends, childhood friends. They're friends that grew up with each other and used to have each other's back. And, you know, they know each other personally outside of these games. So it would hurt for them. It would hurt either way if either of them won. Now, again, there is the loophole, Clause 3, where if they both agree to end the games, they could have both walked out alive. But because this was the final game and the money was so close to them, you know, they felt like it would have been too hard to let it go. Well, Gi-hun didn't. Gi-hun was ready to give up. He was ready to quit. He was ready to go home with Sang-woo and deal with the consequences later. But Sang-woo was not having it. He could not go back out into the real world and end up in debt again and being chased by debtors and loan sharks. He couldn't. He couldn't face his mom. He couldn't face everyone else. He couldn't face himself. And so ultimately, he killed himself so that Gi-hun would win all the money, and that way Gi-hun could help support his mom when he got out. So Sang-woo decided to do the honorable thing at the end, which, you know, again, I commend him for that, because, you know, he was so close to winning, and he's killed so many people already just to get to where he was, and at the end he gave it up so that Gi-hun could leave. And it was really emotional. I was not expecting him to sacrifice himself. I kept watching the knife that was next to him, and I was thinking, oh my god, he's gonna betray Gi-hun. Oh my god, he's gonna grab the knife. Oh my god, he's gonna stab him. But he exceeded my expectations. He decided to go out with dignity and grace. So he redeemed himself to me at the end. And I understand that a lot of people would probably think the same way he would if they were in his shoes, because, you know, your life is on the line. So you can't really fault him on that, although you can be mad about the actions he took and the way he went about his actions, you know. You can criticize, you know, you know, mixed feelings, but overall, I'm satisfied with the way things ended. I knew Gi-hun was gonna win because he is the main character, but I still got so attached to everyone, and these games were really, really scary. Like, the only game that you were not in fear of death of was the first one, the pre-registration game, the Dakji game. All the other games, you will die if you don't win, and so the stakes are a lot higher. But yeah, so that is my ranking for the Squid Game challenges. What do you guys think? Do you agree or disagree with my ranking? Would you participate in the Squid Games for 45.6 million won? Would you play any of these games if you wouldn't have to be killed for it? I would really like to try the Dalgona Candy Challenge. Have you played any of these games before? Any of these childhood games? I've played, you know, I've played like Red Light, Green Light. I've played Tug of War. Never had to play anything like the Glass Bridge, and never want to. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed Squid Game. I hope you guys enjoyed my ranking. And thank you so much for spending Spooky Month with me. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!